Hello, fellow comic book worms and fellow whoever you guys call your respective channel names.
I don't have a groupie.
You don't have a groupie names?
No. Yeah.
Fellow
So,
metas.
metas, metas and sleepy
Hello,
readers.
fellow sleepy people.
Sleepy people and metas. I tell you, what a team.
I'm gonna put down. What we're gonna do today is look at. Oh, let's introduce ourselves. This is not man. Go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
Hey, everyone. I am Sleepy Reader, aka Damien.
Yeah, and because we are streaming this on all our channels, yes, that's a good idea. Although I bet most people that haunt our channels know each other. But yeah, Metarog, Roger, yeah, the guy who collects all the obscurities, that's me.
There's one more person I invited, but I don't think she wanted to come on because we are old folks, and she's a young lady. So anyway,
right.
she's the one that says when more in life, more life and comics. Or no, more life and travel. I'm sorry.
Travel, yeah.
There's Alex right there.
Hey, Alex.
You saying young ladies don't like to hang out with us old men?
No, young ladies don't want to hang out with.
Yeah.
Look
at our shirts, Damien, and that tells you right there why
this is a babe magnet right here.
Hey, Cat.
I had to fight off my wife all day in this shirt.
Hey, Cap.
Yeah,
Hey, James.
we found you.
Yeah, my wife, I had to fight for her to just put up with me in this shirt. So.
Try to pronounce that for me, guys. La Cruces.
La Cruces.
1971.
Yeah.
That's a city in New Mexico. It means the crosses.
Okay, cool.
Hey,
Furious,
Fireball.
hot, and butt fast.
I love that
Hey,
name.
Jay.
That is so cool. JD. I'm just gross today.
I know. I'm just making fun of you, Alex, since you're not here to defend yourself.
I doubt Alex is gross at all. But anyway.
I understand. I mean, I shouldn't have invited a young lady to an old folks channel.
Yeah, I mean,
And a non-comic book person. So,
yeah,
but I can understand if she's had a long
anyways.
day, she might not want to jump on.
Someday we'll have her on.
All right, so I hope I say couching slouching with the CBizo. Did I say hi to everybody on the chat? Fireball Comics. All right.
Will this show people in my and Roger's chat also?
Depends on who they are. I mean, where they're at. But what I'm doing is make sure that everybody sees it. This one.
Oh, there's Werewolf by Lunchtime is in my chat, so that's
right.
Or maybe multiple chats, but I see him in my chat. So yeah.
So
it does work.
Yeah.
Hey,
Roger, I got Crime Alley Comics in my chat as well.
Yeah.
Hey, Crime Alley.
Hello, Crime Alley. So what I'm going to try to do is because one thing bad about this multicasting is that each chat room is not connected to each other.
They don't see each other.
Yeah,
only when you put it up on the screen.
But when I put it up on the screen, they'll be able to see it. So I try to concentrate on that.
It seems like we've got a great audience already. Lots of people that
we just got to be vigilant.
Very happy
and if anybody asks a question or anything, make sure that
put a Q on it, please, so that Q colon and question.
Yeah.
Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to go. We prepared 4 of us, the Sleepy Reader, Metarog, and Alex from More Life and Travel. 4 of us prepared some videos of a Superman origin story from this book right here. Somebody want to show that book?
This book?
Yeah.
I don't have it.
That book right there. It collects newspaper strips.
Yep.
It's about Superman's origin story. So what we did is we try to make a little radio show. And so we're going to play those and react to our acting and all that stuff. So.
And were you just saying this came out, the first comic strips came out about 7 months after the first comic book came out?
This one came out, about 7 months. So
it was very quick from comic book to newspaper. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Right. Yeah, Action came out. What is Action Comics? What is that?
It probably came out about a month and a half before the cover date, so probably closer to 8.5, 9 months.
Action Comic come out
But
on
in less than a year. I mean,
Less
that
than a
blows
year.
my mind.
1938. 1938 is when they come out. June 1938, and the newspaper strip came out January 1939.
It shows what a splash Superman made, that, you know, they went from
Right.
comic book to newspaper so quickly.
Right.
And each
More
weekly they
great
had a little
people
strip,
here.
and I was thinking, how people stand this little strip, you know, and wait for the next newspaper. You know what I mean?
It's a daily. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
daily. Yeah. Hey, Comic Vet, great to have you.
Hello, Comic Vet.
Hey,
Hello,
Bullseye
Everything
Bob's
Comics.
here.
Hey, Bob.
And
Chaos and Comics.
Chris from Chaos and Comics is here. And we are on all 3 channels.
Yeah.
It's
Cool.
like
We're
we're taking over the
simulcasting.
planet.
And I did provide a link to my description, so you could look up any one of us on the channel. Anyway, let me go ahead and play our first clip, and then we're gonna talk about it for a little bit. Then we'll go to the next clip and so on. Then if we have time, we'll do the radio show. And so,
So this is our very own radio show to start with.
yeah, I'm gonna start with our own radio show.
And masterminded by Naman and
By Naman,
incredibly
yeah.
edited by Naman.
Totally.
So
Totally. Wait till you see this,
You
guys.
should
This is really cool.
should appreciate the brilliance of Naman here.
Thank you, guys. They did a fantastic job. I wish Alex is here to, you know, see
She's
I
here
want to see
just
her
in the chat.
reaction too. But anyway, let me go into the stream. The strip 001. What happened? There you go.
Episode 1, Superman Comes to Earth. Superman by
Can you
Jerry
up the volume a
Siegel
little bit?
and Joe Shuster.
Volume number, volume.
Yeah, a little bit. It seems a little bit low.
Yeah, I agree.
The Superman is born. Krypton, a distant planet so far advanced in evolution that it bears a civilization of supermen, beings which represent the human race at its ultimate peak of perfect development. Mile after mile streaks by as Jor-El, Krypton's foremost scientist, races along at a terrific speed that would outdistance the fastest express train. A great leap carries Jor-El hundreds of yards into the air to a balcony near the top of his home.
Jor-El, you've come.
As quickly as I could. Laura, my beloved, where is he? Our newborn son.
So that because some new people came in here, I think. Hello, comics. Everything comics.
Hey, Jackson.
Comic Vet just showed up. Thanks for subbing me.
Hello, comic
Lord
vet.
Tapman just showed up.
Lord Tapman.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Tap Man. Long time no
Chris.
see, man.
So for those who just came in, this is us enacting out the early comic strips, so the origin of Superman from the newspaper comic strips.
Hey, Joe.
That's a good
Yeah,
question.
you noticed that already.
It was
You
just
noticed
with
that
an
already.
L,
That's
no
good.
E-L.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
That's this is actually first time they mentioned Joel. First Action Comic did not mention Joel. So
Jor-El.
Joel.
Sure. Yeah.
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 So, anyway, the one thing that I imagined was that if you have that kind of power where you could just jump 20-story building, can you imagine how all the buildings will change its structures?
On their planet.
Right.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
must have doors you can jump through after you've been leaping for a mile.
Right.
yeah. I mean, what if there's a 40-story building and you could only jump up to 20-story building? You have extra.
You put in a
Yeah.
trampoline. And then
You need a
can go the
special
rest of the way.
permit to get above the jump range. You know. Hey,
But
Galore, how you doing, buddy?
Did they call it Planet Krypton in the comic book in 1938?
No, they didn't mention.
Uh-huh.
All
So
they
this
said was
is the first mention of the name of the planet and the name of the family.
right. Let me see.
That's fascinating. This is still being written by Jerry Siegel, It's not
Yes.
only a little bit of the drawing is done by Schuster because he was
Oh,
going blind.
Any one of you
unfortunately.
got the Action Comic #1, the reprint?
I'm sorry I didn't bring it with me.
Yeah, I thought I had it here.
I can pull one up. Hold on.
But so this was kind of, I think in a way, this was Jerry Siegel's chance to rethink exactly what he wanted to do and add in more detail.
I was telling
Thank
everybody
you.
that be happy as possible. So everybody, I think everybody came through because we want to try to emulate a radio show from 1939. So
That was the attempt.
yes,
Yep, we are the cool kids.
we're the cool kids.
Even though Chaos says Lady Fantastic is looking at nude covers on Remy's channel.
Okay, we're the cool boys. She's the cool
We're
lady.
not as exciting, but we'll try to be cool.
Where's the Lady Fantastic? Did she show up? I didn't see her.
No, she's on another live show, is what he's
Oh,
saying.
I see. I'm
Looking at
comparing this
nude.
with Lady Fantastic. Oh no. There's Bill. How are you, Bill?
Hey, Bill. Yeah, so we're just waiting for Roger now to grab a hold of an action.
I got
line.
it. Of course, I saw this like a few days ago, and of course, it wasn't where I thought it was. Anyway.
Oh,
So,
Bill
what do you
may be
wanna know?
sad that you're back, Roger. He was enjoying your absence.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Jackson. What do you want to know?
The first panel.
First panel. As a distant planet was
No,
destroyed
sure.
by old age, a scientist placed his infant son within a hastily devised spaceship, launching it towards Earth.
Yeah, there's no mention of what planet that is.
No.
There's no mention of the father, and there was mention of scientists, but no mention of mother. There's no mention of
Yeah, a scientist and his infant son is all it's
That's
say.
it,
No
yeah.
mom. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and no what do you call it? Adopted parents either. So
Nope. Totally skipped that whole thing. You just went right to the kid and holding up the sofa or whatever that is.
right.
Easy chair. Or whatever.
So let's go to the next
The
one.
orphanage.
You guys have any more comment on this particular first clip?
No.
Roger?
No.
No? Okay. Oh, but anything you notice, Damien?
I just like the art. I like the art at this stage of Superman.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Yeah, pretty good
Hey,
for
Ricky.
the time actually. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, it's very solid.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah.
Cool. Let me go ahead and delete that one. Take that out. Here's a strip 2. Next day strip. My computer.
Destruction menaces.
I'm afraid our son, Kal-El, is rather a roughneck. He gave the doctor a discolored eye, and I've been having difficulty in preventing his leaping from my arms.
Just like your dad. More than I could ever.
Quick! What?
Suddenly, the room begins to quiver, first slowly, then with increasing violence. Clutched in the tremor's merciless fury, Jor-El's home commences to topple before the terrific strain.
Let me see. Hello, Kenneth.
Hey, Kenneth. Did you notice the error in this one?
Yeah, I noticed
The error? I missed it.
There's an error. He says earthquake.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're not on Earth.
Right.
I was gonna see
It
who
should have
noticed that,
been
but
a planet quake, a land quake, a krypton quake, but not an earthquake.
Just quake,
Just a quake, right?
Quake.
So you could tell that it was obviously, you're thinking like an earthling,
Right.
Jacob Bonsky, how are you, Bonsky?
Hey, Jacob. How you doing, buddy?
Roger makes a great husband.
You make a great wife, Alex.
Yeah, Alex, you make a great
No
wife and
complaints
mom.
whatsoever.
I love how you take care of your baby.
Yeah.
What else you notice, you guys? What I noticed is that the people are they can run fast. They could
Jump.
jump on all that stuff, and I guess that they're pretty tough. But their buildings, they're supposed to be 10 million years later, right?
Right.
10 years advance of us, and their building cannot stand the earthquake.
Right.
Hey Tim. Yeah. Also, it's neat to know that Superman Kal-El was like a rambunctious child. You know.
Right.
Oh yeah, I noticed that too. He was so it's
Yeah,
like
I mean,
we got the sort of best of Krypton rather than the average guy of
Yeah,
Krypton, maybe.
exactly.
That was they were
Yeah.
hinting at.
You know, nowadays they'd call that colic or hyper or whatever, but here you're talking about somebody who was actually more advanced. It looked like at this stage than most kids wanted to leap out of her arms. So,
Hey, 23.
I like the idea that they're more physically advanced than us, than the whole yellow sun thing versus the red sun.
Yeah,
I wish they'd stuck with this idea, because it's more I don't know, I believe it more.
Yeah, it's a little more. It makes a lot more sense, right?
yeah, I think they wanted to have some kind of weaknesses,
Right.
so
True. Yeah.
And
so that they would have better plot lines, so that when Superman went somewhere else, or if somebody could alter the sun's rays, they could have that plot line.
Yeah.
but
I wonder when the whole yellow sun thing came along. I'm sort of suspecting with Mort Weisinger, the famous Silver Age editor, perhaps.
I think it is a Silver Age thing. Yeah.
Little plug. I'm doing deep dive on all the origin stories, so I have all kind of origin story books that will do. I'm trying to find when that they change all that stuff. So throughout from silver to bronze to.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Anyway.
And will you eventually put out edit all these videos together and put it out as a standalone video on your channel?
Yeah, I will do that. And actually, each one of you, I'm going to send the short version, because each one of these clips lasts about 1 minute. You can make a short out of it, and you guys can also put it out there too.
Okay.
Oh, we can put it on our channels too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because it's a collaborative effort. It belongs to all of us, not just one of us. So,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I agree with the comic collector there.
Yeah.
But it made it a little more, even though they talked about suns, it made it a little more like magic. He's magically just incredibly powerful.
Right.
The thing that makes me realize that Superman is a part of all the heroes.
Yes.
Like even X-Men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because X-Men is all about evolution, and Superman evolved. So, let's go to the third clip.
Without Siegel and Schuster, no one else in superhero comics would have a career. Literally, everyone owes them their career. This is the avant-garde part.
Yeah, some more.
Crash! Laura! Kal-El! Under that wreckage! I've got to save her! Laura, you're all right. Both of you.
Yes, but there's been so many terrible earthquakes recently. Why?
So there goes their arrow again, earthquake.
Yeah. Yep. Once
And we get
again,
to see how strong Jor-El is. He can lift
Yeah,
up
he
a
can
whole
actually
wall.
lift the building from their planet.
Yep.
So
yep.
they're
And you can see how tough Laura is too.
yeah,
Right.
even babies survived the earthquake.
Yeah, without a scratch. But
Hey, John, good to see you.
hey, it's strange to me though that it was at this point that she was like, "There's been so many earthquakes."
Right.
You would think Jor-El would have told her previously. It seems like they have a pretty close relationship when it comes to that. But anyway, yeah, that's the way that they segue into the next part there.
All right. Ready for the next clip, or you got any comments? I see. Okay. All right, Jackson.
It's just the English translation.
This book actually fixed that. I think one of these books fixes that. They don't they mention as a quake, not later origin story will fix that. So
yeah.
All right, next video. I'm on full, right? I'm full.
The terrible truth. On the way to Jor-El's other residence.
But you haven't answered me. Why are we experiencing so many earthquakes lately?
That's exactly what I intend to find out.
Upon reaching their destination, Jor-El hurries into his laboratory and becomes immersed in his calculations. Hours pass, then days.
Please, take this food.
I told you I was not to be disturbed.
And then on the 5th day, Jor-El learns the terrible truth.
No, I must be wrong. I must.
Good acting,
Wow, man. Now I have to apologize for Alex for being short with her on that third panel.
Yeah, you were a bit rude.
I was a jerk for sure.
Yeah, I mean, million years later, 10 million years later, and we guys are still jerk.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a new phenomenon.
Exactly. We're not very progressive at all at this point.
No. Yeah, but here we see, that they're speeding away together,
Right?
And
So
talking, and that's what it's like. Oh, you haven't told me, and he was like, I don't know. I'm gonna find out. I guess.
Yeah, I
when it
love
happens
that
to your
panel.
family,
I love that panel. It just regular life. They just go jumping around through the air.
Yeah.
Who needs a car? Who needs a?
Yeah, they don't need
Who needs a
vehicles.
flying vehicle when you can jump?
You just need a good dinner. But Jor-El was, rebuffed her food, and
I thought about asking you guys to, when you are running, I thought about asking you guys to go, but then maybe these guys are.
It's
this is nothing to them. So,
Nauman, look at what Crime Alley is saying on my thing here. So that may be where it started.
Number 262. All right.
1959. Okay.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That note.
That would make sense. That's early Silver Age there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I forgot what I was going to say. But as a kid, if I found this in my newspaper, I would have been so excited. Like just stuff going on another planet. That would just be so cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been like, newspaper. When's the next newspaper?
Yeah. Like I was seeing like the Alex Raymond Flash Gordon strips in my newspaper, and I thought those were fascinating. I don't remember too much about the Superman one, but I definitely remember the Flash Gordon.
Yeah, I don't know if Superman was still going when we were kids in the newspapers.
I don't remember. Yeah.
All right. Oh, be careful at work.
Hey, Puff.
Let's see. Let's go to the next strip.
Krypton doomed.
If only there could be an error. But no, I've checked and rechecked the calculations hundreds of times.
Jor-El, I must talk to you. You're terribly pale, dear. I know there's something wrong. What is it? Tell me.
I'd rather not.
I insist.
Perhaps it's just as well as you know. Laura, Krypton is doomed. It's going to crumble and die. And as it does, all its inhabitants will perish.
Our planet die? Are you sure?
Beyond a doubt. Our recent volcanic eruptions were a warning. But soon, due to an internal cataclysm, Krypton will explode to fragments.
So, first thing they mention is Krypton here, right?
Yep.
So,
right.
Finally get only after 6 months we get the name of the planet. But on comic comic strip,
Yeah,
not on the comic
got-
books.
You got on the title.
They name it in the first panel of the first strip.
Oh, that's right.
But
That's
this does seem to be the first time they name it
Right,
here,
right.
rather than
You're right,
Yeah, but
you're
that's
right.
the first time that's uttered in the strip there.
Cool.
Another thing, I found it odd. This is kind of an aside, right? I found it odd that last panel, the phraseology, because it said, I think it says crumble to something or other. I would, instead of, I kept wanting to say crumble into something instead of to, you know? And I thought that was kind of a strange phraseology, but.
Oh, right. Will explode to fragments.
Fragments, yeah, instead of into fragments. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a mistake or if that's how they said it back then.
It may have been, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Damien. It may have been the popular way to describe that in that time.
Yeah, an idiomatic.
An idiomatic, right. I had to keep, I repeated that 7 or 8 times because I automatically said into.
Right, I can see you would do that. Yeah.
Right, because, you know,
classic,
you know,
I had to edit those, Roger.
You know?
I go, this is the clip, and then there's more.
I mean, 50 some years to unprogram and reprogram yourself is really difficult at my age, you know.
Roger and his others.
Yeah. Hey, Morris, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, man. All right. Any more comments? Chat? Okay, good. Next strip.
A solution.
How peaceful you are, little darling.
I don't think you have it on the screen.
You don't have it on. You have Damien up there. Yeah.
I want to get it on screen and start it over again.
Yeah.
There you go.
And is the volume all the way up again, or did it go down?
Let's see. I think because it's
Oh, it's still all the way up. Okay, good.
A solution.
How peaceful you are, little darling sweet.
Laura, it's not right for him to die. He's young. He's entitled to a rich, full life. And we've made such wonderful plans for him.
How frail and aloof those stars are. How distant from the impending doom. Oh, Turel. If only we could be up there, safe to pursue our lives as we please.
Laura, you struck upon the solution.
And what?
Up there, among the stars, there lies our security. I'll build a ship, an ark of space. We'll transport our planet's entire populace to another world. Then, by all the powers, let Krypton blow itself to eternity, for all I care.
And Oscar goes to Alex.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome acting.
That was a very poetic monologue there for a while for
Yeah,
Laura.
it certainly was. It certainly was. So
my William Shatner acting.
So this is interesting. I did not know this. I did not know that Laura was the inspiration for.
Well, this is you got to recognize this is not canon. This is the comic strip.
Right.
Yeah.
I realize that, but
yeah.
but considering the scarcity of information we had before this, it was interesting that they chose this kind of dynamic, right? That his Laura, the wife, was the one that actually inspired. You would think a scientist that would have been, you know, kind of his kind of inspiration, but it looked to me like he was so worried about finding out when it is and how it was happening.
He didn't think
Laura
of the solution.
to sort of
right.
give that spark. Yeah.
This may not be canon now, but it is the creator of Superman for the first time working out exactly how this would have happened.
Right.
So it is showing us his thought process.
Right.
And so I know that he eventually married the woman who inspired Lois Lane. So I think he might have a thing in his life about being inspired by women and the inspirational aspects of women the women in his life.
Right. That would make sense. Yeah. And you have to remember that the comic, he had to really go into the action fairly quickly. He didn't have time to expose all the details. But
Right.
I'm almost certain that he had this already in mind as far as how the story would have drawn out if he could actually have put it in this kind of dramatic fashion. So I give him credit for, being able to, dot the I's and cross the T's, not just say go from A to L. He went A, B, C, D, E.
Awesome comments. Hello, Lost in Comics.
Hey.
All right, let's ready for next clip.
Definitely.
No one believes him.
But to build this vast spaceship, within which he proposed to transport our civilization to another world, will require the assistance of many men.
I'll go to Retaz, the council chairman, and ask for the council's support.
Later,
But I tell you, Retaz, it's the only way we can save everyone from a terrible death. You've got to believe and to help me.
Sorry, Joel. The council believes your fears unfounded. We advise you to forget this silly tale of Krypton's coming doom.
You saw the council?
They laughed at me, doubted my sanity. Because of their stupidity, a world will die.
No, Jor-El. With or without the council's assistance, you must build this space vessel.
Well, at least you and little Kal-El believe in me.
Remind me of I don't know. I love Evil Namen.
I love Evil Namen.
Evil Namen.
I mean,
Yeah.
Politicians were problematic even back then. You know what I mean?
This reminds me of Noah's Ark. You guys, this type of story reminds me of Noah's Ark. Can you
Very
imagine?
good. Yeah, it's a lot like the Noah's Ark story. I hadn't thought of that.
Well, just imagine if he succeeded much as Noah did, and bring all those animals to our Earth.
Yeah.
That would have been horrendous for planet Earth.
That would be like that show Alien Nation, where that whole race came and sort of had to integrate into society. That would have been interesting too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, the council, of course, they're like, he showing scientific proof apparently doesn't matter.
Right.
It's not. We don't want to panic the people. It's the reality of it, right? I mean, it's just the reality of it. What do you mean you don't want to panic them? You want to if you have a plan in place and a timeline, they don't panic. They work together. So.
Or Moses, Moses was Lord. But the I think let's go to the next clip.
a strange ship. Month follows month in feverish activity as Jor-El pits his mighty brain against the numerous obstacles to interplanetary travel. Then,
I finished it, Laura. The model space flyer. It's ready for the trial journey.
That's grand.
As you can see, it's really nothing but a mere toy. But should its automatically guided flight to Earth prove successful, I'll commence to construct a giant spaceship at once.
The planet Earth?
Yes, telescopic observation has convinced me that Earth is the only nearby planet capable of supporting life. Now for the demonstration.
Jor-El reaches for the switch, which will launch the model spaceship upon its momentous flight across space to Earth.
What is cliffhanger? I'm ready for next strip.
Whoever said it was like Moses, now I realize it is like both Noah's Ark and Moses, because he's like Moses put in the basket down the river.
Right.
And
yeah.
But Jor-El is like Noah, who no one is the only one who realizes disaster is coming and is preparing
Right.
for it.
Right.
So there's a lot of biblical feeling to all of this.
Yep.
And then, of course, some people interpret Superman as a Christ-like figure. I never really saw it that way, but I've heard people say that.
I think Moses, Superman should be Moses then.
Yeah. The deliverer, right? In a
Hello,
sense, he
Master
is. In a
Uncommon.
sense, he
Yeah,
was.
Ron.
Yeah. I read something years ago, and I don't remember where, that said that Superman was sort of like the anti-Nazi. In other words, like he was like a more perfected human, but not from Aryan roots, but
Right.
from those Middle Eastern roots. And so maybe this is sort of some kind of amalgamation of that, those biblical characters and the more modern Israeli Hebrew state,
Right. And his superiority is meant to lead the way for everyone else to follow, not as to crush us inferior people down and not let
Right.
us improve.
Correct. That's
I mean,
the anti-Nazi thing.
Right. I'm echoing that thought
Oh, okay, gotcha,
from
gotcha.
you. I didn't think of it till you said it, and then
well, I read
I'm
that.
just
I didn't
expanding
come
on
up
it.
with that. I read that, and I don't remember where. It
Okay.
was probably one of those comic readers, or those way back those fanzines. Damien, I've read hundreds of them. I don't remember them all. But that makes sense when you look at Superman,
Yeah.
and how sort of anti Aryan when you think about how he comes about, right? And
right.
he's actually a hero for all people. So anyway,
All right. Next.
I like the way that he calls it a space flyer. Is that right, Damien?
Yeah, space flyer. Yeah, they call it different things.
Yeah. So he
they
doesn't
did
call it
one thing Arc one time. They did call it Arc, Space Arc, or something like that.
Well, that's the idea, right? Arc meaning moving, masses of people or beings, right? But this is the prototype. This is like, hey, let's see if it actually makes it there. Interesting. It says nearby planets.
Yeah. So there's some, I don't know if it's in here, but there's some version where they say that Krypton is in our solar system, but out of view behind the sun.
That's interesting.
I don't think that. I think in this version, the way they describe, as they will in a few more strips, describe the journey of the ship, it's going beyond just one solar system. But.
Right.
I would have noticed the planet blowing up.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if the planet blows up, you're going to be able to tell from Earth, no matter where it is, But yeah, I mean, they probably didn't think of every minute detail. Nearby to them at that point, remember, there was no space program yet. So.
Right.
I hope we have time to get to the radio show, because it answers some of that question, I think.
Yeah.
They'd at this point, they'd only recently discovered that there was more than one galaxy. They used to think the Milky Way galaxy was the whole universe. So
right.
Everything was changing rapidly in terms of astronomical knowledge.
Red Sun has not been introduced yet in this origin stories.
I'm sorry?
The Red Sun, I'm answering Amen. I thought Krypton had a Red Sun, but that has not been introduced yet.
Right.
Yeah, that was later, I think. Yeah.
So the Red Sun, at this point, for people who came in later, it's that they've been evolving several more million years than us, and that has given them superpowers rather than a red sun or any other.
Or yellow sun or yellow,
Yeah.
You can see Krypton.
Only from where the Jacksons at.
Yeah.
Because
I told you, he's an angel, man. He can go anywhere, so he knows where it is.
I'm telling you. He's
been there several times, I'm sure.
All right, next clip.
Destruction. As Jor-El is about to touch the ship, the switch's handle, he is flung off balance by a sudden lurching of the roof.
Earthquake!
Gone sooner than I expected.
Look, the ground, heaving, parting, flaming.
Not a second to lose. The model flyer will hold one of us.
If only one can escape, it must be our child.
I love that earthquake panel with everyone running around.
I thought about adding some sound effect to everyone, but I just didn't have enough time. But I was able to find earthquake sound effects, so I go ahead and add those things.
And we should highlight what a great job Alex is doing. I noticed the rest of us are reading. She's like looking right at the camera and acting. That's a professional.
Yeah, I know. I think I told you she should get an Oscar nomination.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Otaku tour guide. 안녕하세요.
Hey, Otaku Borum.
Hey.
Yeah, here, notice that the destruction happened before, a little earlier than he thought.
Right.
That's why he didn't have time to test it, come back to the council and say, hey, this worked. Maybe you can change your mind. No, just all went kablooey.
Or make a bigger one for the whole family.
For the whole family.
Yeah, he didn't have time.
No.
On that panel that you talked about where people are running around, there should be people jumping around too.
That's a good point. They forgot about everyone could be jumping in the air.
Yeah. And that guy in the third panel in the corner looks a lot like the guy on Action 1.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yeah.
Except I think
some of them should be holding up buildings with their super strength.
Yeah. Well. Apparently they panicked too on Krypton. So.
Yes.
Thanks, Everything Comic.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to make too.
Yeah, it was really fun making it.
Yeah. we were considering unionization, but I think Damien, Alex, and I will sort of, we'll give Naman a break on that one.
One day when I become Disney.
There you go. We'll retroactively unionize if that happens, right?
I'm sure there'll be a lot of residuals anyway.
Oh, let's hope so.
It would be cool if you guys did a motion comic with all yells, narration, and a little music in the background. Yeah, I thought about music, but I didn't want. I thought about music. I didn't have enough time.
Yeah. Well, you did so much. It's amazing, actually.
Yeah, he put this together
K-pop.
pretty quick.
Yeah, it's great acting.
Yeah.
Hey, K-pop. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Matt. All right.
Yeah, let's see. Saying hi. All right, let's go to next strip.
Speeding toward Earth. Up from Jor-El's laboratory streaks the rocket ship bearing Kal-El from certain destruction. An instant after their glorious self-sacrificing gesture, Jor-El and Laura perish in the earthquake's awful grip. And in still another instant, the tremendous planet of Krypton explodes into 1,000,000 fragments. Rocked by the explosion but escaping annihilation, the little rocket vessel continues on its way to Earth. Its cargo, the sole survivor of a once mighty civilization.
Well, that's where you see sad. Hey, Comic Johnny.
Hey, Journey. Hey, CJ.
So, what do you think, guys?
It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you were a little kid back then, what would happen? I mean,
I might have been in tears if I was a little kid reading this.
I mean, now remember, this is a daily, right? So you've been following these folks for what, 10 days or so,
Right?
And if I was a kid, I was like, okay, they're going to change their mind. They're going to, no.
Right.
Everybody's dead except for Helen.
Yeah, that's the difference for us. We read these stories. We all know that Krypton explodes, and we've all known it and read about it several times. But the kids back then just did not know.
They didn't know. They didn't know this was coming, right?
Right.
Well, I guess
Yeah,
if
that
you
was
read
tough.
that Action Comic #1, I guess.
Well, the kids
yeah,
who had read Action Comics #1, yeah.
Right.
yeah.
But I bet there must
it
have
was
been a
very
ton of
brief.
new readers in the newspapers.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
big.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Next strip.
Yeah.
A perilous arrival. Peril after peril is narrowly avoided by this rocketing space flyer, a great jagged meteor. The gravity of a giant sun almost draws the vessel to a molten death. Safety appears to have at last been reached when it finally streaks down into Earth's atmosphere. But due to friction with the air, the ship takes fire upon landing. Hungry flames creep greedily toward the tiny sleeping passenger.
So the spaceship is just normal spaceship. It's not a super spaceship, you know.
Right. And it just barely survives its trip,
Right.
which I thought was a good touch.
Yeah.
And it does give a sense of it's traveled a long way too.
A long way. And he probably didn't have time to make every little adjustment. He sort of had to let it go at wherever juncture he was at, as far as the telemetry goes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
These
Interesting.
were printed in the newspaper, Mastodon.
Oh yeah, 1939. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 1939.
Interesting that they were very descriptive in that last panel, Damien. When you read it, note greedily, the flames were greedily, very Shakespearean kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And also there's some scientific stuff like the friction causing the. Remember, at this point, they didn't even have jets, So
right. Yeah.
The fact that they knew that and put that in there, knew that that re-entry would cause that is kind of pretty cool.
That's a good point, because they would have just had propeller planes at this point.
Mm-hmm. They wouldn't have anywhere near the velocity to do that.
Yeah. And I think most people thought we would never go to space at this point.
Yeah.
Because when people first started talking about going to space in the 1950s, I know a lot of people thought they were insane. And this is the 1939.
Also, amount of the travel this baby had to do. I don't want to spoil the radio show, but parallel to the comic book. So this came in right after 6-7 months after Action Comics. So this does not parallel comic book story. Matter of fact, comic book and the comic strip, they diverge. In Superman story, Action Comic, Superman #1 story, they describe more of Martha Kent than Joel and Laura. They don't even mention it. About 6 months later, Superman comic book comes out, but they don't even mention Joel and Laura on that.
Yeah.
That comic book.
It
so they don't parallel
quite a bit. Yeah. Morris has a good point, though. Meteorites do burn up when they come into the atmosphere.
Right, and that's how they would have extrapolated that.
Yeah. That's a good point, Morris. Very good point. But still, it's cool that they put that little detail in there. Yeah.
No deflector shields.
No deflector shields. No.
Hey, Ben Compton.
And I'd like to know the power source of that little rocket too, because
no packed lunch for Superman.
It seemed like the passenger compartment was about 80% of the rocket.
Yes, let's get some of that fuel. We can solve all our energy problems.
It's that cold fusion in there. I mean, what's up with that?
Hello, Elisa.
Elisa. Yes,
Elisa
it's a radio play.
All right.
I like that name, Elisa. That's a very, very, very pretty name.
Good name.
Yeah. And the mighty Masked Panthers here, the old friend of mine.
Hello, Masked Panther.
Hey, Masked Panther.
No big deal. Let's see. All right, final strip.
That lithium crystals.
Nerds, we all nerds understand what that is.
Yeah.
Superman is here. The sleeping babe is rescued from the burning spaceship by a passing motorist and turned over to an orphan asylum.
Good heavens! is a child.
Attendants, unaware the child's physical structure is millions of years advanced of their own, are astounded at his feats of strength. When maturity was reached, Clark Kent discovered he could easily leap an eighth of a mile, hurdle a 20-story building, raise tremendous weights, run faster than an express train, and that nothing less than a bursting shell could penetrate his skin. Early, Clark decided he must turn his titanic strength into channels that would benefit mankind. And so was created Superman, champion of the oppressed, the physical marvel who had sworn to devote his existence to helping those in need.
Go get him, Soups.
Some of those panels come out of Action Comics #1.
Yeah, those last three. Yeah. Except
They're not in the same order.
Not in the same order. The train one is actually 3 or 4 different panels. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I'm looking. I now realize I have a digital Action 1 in front of me. The art has improved a lot from Action 1, in fact.
Yeah. Especially in the newspaper, right?
Yeah, the art from the newspaper to the comic, from the comic book to the newspaper, it's definitely been an evolution.
Maybe the coloring people didn't do the job because
they might have ruined it in the printing.
I remember this 1938 printing press here.
So it was very very specific. 1/8 of a mile is how he can, and 20-story high building, faster than locomotive. Very limited superpower, but it's also birthed a lot of superheroes, right?
No one had superpowers before him. Yeah, I wonder if the appearance of other superheroes made them up Superman's powers.
Thank you, Jeb.
Keep ahead of them.
Yeah, in response, perhaps. But 1/8 of a mile, nothing on Earth comes close to that. So,
right.
You're talking about a city block or so. You see somebody leaping a city block. I mean, you're going to take notice.
Yeah, right. At the time, I think a lot of people were thinking that there exists life at Mars, right? At that time.
Yeah, sure. There's always been theories and so forth. I mean, but the problem is that there's always competing forces, right? I mean, you have some that say, "Oh yeah, I mean, we're going to be able to have a space flight and everything." And like Damien said, others always we're like, no, humans can take the pressure and the radiation and all this stuff. So they had to troubleshoot all that stuff before they could go up, in the 50s.
No, Jackson, this was the very last Superman appearance of all time.
I think Jackson meant the one that does very specific super strength.
Oh, okay. I thought he was just joking around.
Maybe he was.
Well, that can be your next project, Naman, is to track when Superman's powers started increasing.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. These are all the comic books that I'm tracking with. So yeah. Football field.
I do like the idea of a more limited power set, because then it makes it a little more heroic what he's doing.
It also shows how he propels himself, right? Because you know how I remember they did an interview with the Stan Lee, and he made fun of Superman because he could propel his flight. There's no propelling his flight, right? Nothing propels his flight. Mm-hmm. So he was making fun of him. But when you read these origin story, hey, they already thought of that, Stan Lee. they already thought of that. And your matter of fact, your Hulk does the same thing that Superman was doing already.
Right, but he's probably making fun of the fact that later they stopped worrying about how he could fly.
Yeah.
But there must be Marvel comic characters who can just randomly fly also.
So Grayman did this kind of narration too. Merrock?
He
Yeah.
narrated some horror stories, right? And
Yeah, and some
Roger
Christmas
was
stories.
part of that.
Mhm.
Was that 2 years ago? That was
Couple
very
years
good.
ago. Yeah, a couple years
Those
ago.
were
Yeah,
very good
That was very
productions.
enjoyable too. Yeah, he let us pick our stories, and then he would pluck the panels from somewhere in the internet. I don't know where, and he would, voice them over. Yeah.
Well, I'm reviving
Yeah,
it.
he was doing brilliant stuff for a very small audience.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Although these are labors of love. I mean, as far as I'm concerned,
true.
I mean,
I
Yeah,
just
this is-
remember
I
at
mean-
the time thinking, I wish more people were seeing these
Yeah, me
because
too.
they were so good.
yeah,
But
me
maybe
too.
they're still out there, so people can still find them.
All right,
Someday
so I'm
he'll
gonna
get
have to
the
come
money
back to this
deserve.
because I'm getting a lot of good information. Superman number 10 in 1941 is the first flight.
First flight.
I think there was an accident in. I think a radio program had. You don't go to radio program, guys.
Sure.
You have time for that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm down with it.
Over now.
It's not even 10:30.
Okay, it was a lot of fun. Okay, let's go to the radio show.
Hey, Dackert.
Personality.
Hold on. I didn't show this.
You have Damien Big, yeah.
Todd.
Here, civilization is far
Millions of
advanced.
miles.
It has brought forth a race of supermen, men and women like ourselves, but advanced to the absolute peak of human perfection. As we near Krypton, we see high walls and gleaming turrets. We approach the magnificent Temple of Wisdom. There, in a great hall, Jor-El, Krypton's foremost man of science, is about to address a meeting of the planet's governing council. Attention! Attention, gentlemen! Jor-El speaks. Members of the council, I have
Hey, Color
completed
Comics.
my solar calculations, and much as I dread uttering these words, I have come to the conclusion Krypton is doomed. I hear him right. Gentlemen, hear him out. These internal quakes we've been experiencing, these volcanic eruptions, tidal waves, gas escaping from giant craters, all point to only one thing, gentlemen. Krypton is utterly and finally doomed. One moment, gentlemen. One moment. There is no cause for anxiety. I am certain Jor-El has made a mistake. True, we have had a few minor quakes and eruptions, but nothing very serious. There must be some error in your calculations, Jor-El. No, there is no error, Ozan. I only wish there were. The sun is gradually drawing Krypton closer to it. Within a month, possibly only a week, the gravitational pull will be so tremendous that Krypton will not be able to weather the strain. And then our planet will explode like a giant bubble, destroying every living thing on it. Gentlemen, assuming for the moment, Jor-El, that what you say is true, how are we to avoid it? What can we do to stop it? There is only one way. As you all know, I have been working on a spaceship designed for interplanetary travel. With time and united effort, we might transport the entire population of Krypton to another world. If possible. Where would we go? To the Earth. My studies tell me the atmosphere of the Earth is very nearly the same as our own. You have been working too hard, Jor-El. You need a rest. Believe me, we have the utmost respect for your knowledge and integrity. But this is carrying it too far. Planets as large as Krypton do not explode, Jor-El. Wait! Do you hear that, gentlemen? It's the forewarning of doom. Every moment is precious now. Quakes like that are sounding the death knell of Krypton. It will happen, gentlemen, and happen soon. When the last great eruption comes... When it comes, Jor-El, it shall find all of us ready. If Krypton is to die, we shall die with it. The party would be much too severe. Very well. Laugh if you like, Roseanne. And you members of the council. I have no time to laugh. My wife, Lara, and my infant son are dear to me. It is not my wish to stand by and see them destroyed. Laugh, all of you. But a time will
speed. Is it your wish that we devote time and money to the building of spaceships or the transportation of Krypton's population to another
We
planet?
just did.
I am sorry, Jor-El. The Council has spoken.
Yes, and signed the death warrants of every living thing on Krypton. Well, I've done my best to convince you. Now all that remains for me is to proceed with my own means of salvation. My own spaceship to save the lives of those near and dear to me. As for the rest of you, may the gods have mercy on your souls.
Jor-El's plan is absolutely mad.
Ah, Lara, I can see you.
I came out to take the air on the terrace. It's been terribly hot all day. Is that because we're being drawn to the sun, Jor-El?
Yes,
What did the council have to say about that?
I didn't mention it.
Is the model of your spaceship almost finished?
Yes, I just drove the last rivet. How does it look?
Splendid.
Rivet.
Will it work?
That remains to be seen. If it does work, I shall immediately begin construction of another just like it, only much larger. One big enough to carry all three of us to another world.
Jor-El, when will that be? Every moment that we spend waiting and wondering.
I know, Lara. It's been hard on all of us, and particularly hard on you. How is the boy?
Sleeping, Jor-El. That quake this afternoon frightened him, but he's all right now. Can't you come in and look at him? You scarcely see him these days when we're working all hours on the spaceship model.
It can't be helped, dear. I'm racing against time. Right now, I'm anxious to know whether the model will behave as I hope.
How does it operate?
Very simply. When all is ready, I throw this switch. That closes the circuit, and electric energy builds up pressure in the atomic generators. Then, at the final moment, the pressure forces the ship from its carrier and speeds it on its way.
But where does it go?
Wherever it's pointed. This one I'm directing to the planet Earth.
Earth? What is that, Jor-El?
A planet smaller than our own, situated on the other side of the sun. It's inhabited by a race of people similar to ourselves.
Like ourselves?
Well, only partly, of course, my dear. They're about the same size, but nowhere nearly as developed. Very weak and helpless, and with all their faculties
Weak and helpless.
extremely limited.
How do you mean?
Something like this. You know how far you step when you want to go somewhere?
Practically as far as I want. Why, one step takes me to Brother's house near the fountain.
Exactly. Well, down where I'm sending this spaceship, it's quite different. An Earthman steps only 3 feet at a time at most, and everything else is in proportion.
And that's where we're going? Oh, how dreadful.
My dear, which would you rather do? Go to Earth and live, or stay on Krypton and die?
I'll do anything you say, Jor-El, anything. It doesn't matter to me whether we live or die as long as we're together. It's only the boy I worry about.
Yes, I know. Oh, Lara, darling, don't worry. He'll be saved.
When are you testing the spaceship model?
In the morning. Just as dawn breaks, I'll send it on its way, watching its flight through a high-powered telescope to see whether it lands safely on Earth.
Is Earth the only planet place we can go to, Jor-El?
We couldn't
Hey,
breathe
Phil.
on any other planet but the Earth. It happens to have an atmosphere similar
Hey,
to
Jerry.
I suppose you know this, Jor-El. Are you coming in? It seems to have gotten oppressively hot.
Yes, it has. I wonder. Lara, do you hear that?
Yes, Jor-El. What is it?
Subterranean explosions. Do you feel the ground trembling?
Yes, I do. Jor-El, do you think?
Lara.
Hello,
I'm
Cyclotron.
afraid it's come. Where is the boy, Kal-El?
What do you mean?
Get him quickly. This is the end.
Jor-El, what can we do?
Nothing. I'm not ready. Oh, what a fool I've been to delay.
It isn't your fault, Jor-El. You did all you could.
If only this model were large enough, we could take a chance.
Jor-El, would it carry one of us safely to Earth?
Oh, I think so, but Lara, where are you going? Stay here with me.
I'm getting Kal-El. If one of us can be saved, Jor-El, it should be the boy.
No, Lara, come back. If one must go, it should be you. Lara, I said come back. Come back.
Here he is, Jor-El, still asleep. Goodbye, Kal-El.
Please, Lara.
No, Jor-El, listen to me. We both stay here. Kal-El goes in the spaceship. If there is a chance, Jor-El, if one little chance, I want it for my son.
Maybe you're right, Lara.
Jor-El, look. The sky. It's fiery red. The mountains. Look, the mountains are falling in. Jor-El, what's happening?
The end of Krypton, Lara. Just as I foretold. This is the last great quake.
Jor-El.
That's great,
listen.
quick.
Explosion.
Here, quick, give me the boy.
Kal-El. Kal-El. What are you doing, Jor-El?
Opening the door. Putting him inside.
Jor-El. The house is swaying.
But there's a chance, the only chance. Stand back now, Lara. I'm going to throw the switch.
Jor-El, it's getting dark. I can't see. What happened?
Fire. Smoke from the center of the planet. Not much time now.
Hold me, Jor-El. Has the spaceship gone?
No, not yet. Waiting for pressure. We may have been too late. If it doesn't work up soon, wait. Lara, it's off. It's on its way.
Jor-El, where are you?
Here beside you, Lara. Listen, can you hear me? Our boy, Kal-El. Our son, Lara. He's on his way. On his way to Earth.
Kal-El!
No. Oh, sad.
The tiny rocket ship roars into the uncharted heavens as the mighty planet of Krypton explodes into millions of glowing fragments, glittering stars to remain forever in the night sky. Jor-El and Lara, devoted parents of the tiny boy, perish in the giant quake that destroys Krypton. But what of the rocket ship? Does it reach the Earth? Does it find its mark in all the far-flung darkness of space? Remember, don't miss the next installment of Superman. Up in the sky, look, it's a giant bird.
It's a plane!
It's Superman! Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
So I think next one is where they explain how how Superman travels.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, let me see.
I think he
hope they
gets
don't
to
delete
Earth
it.
pretty quickly in this one.
Superman.
Do what now?
I think he gets to Earth quite quickly between episodes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
He
Oh, he make it through here.
hope he makes it there. Well, it's like you said, Damien, when we were talking before, that Jor-El said that
They're on the other side of the sun.
Yeah.
And somehow we never noticed the explosion.
Maybe the whole planet got thrown into the sun on that side and we just didn't realize it. I don't know.
I'm guessing it is because there's several
They're all over
channels that has a
YouTube.
copy of this.
Yeah.
They're all over YouTube. I think they're
Yeah.
Yeah.
out of the.
I don't think I'll be taken down from.
And I think maybe they may have changed. They may have put Krypton in our solar system because they thought maybe the general public wouldn't understand more complicated distances or something.
Yeah, could be. Yeah,
Although this means he didn't have as far to fly, and yet, as we'll see in the next episode,
Yeah.
Up in the sky, look, it's a bird. It's Superman. And now, Superman, eighth wonder of the modern world, visitor from a distant planet whose strength knows no limit, whose endurance is beyond anything humanity has ever known. We have seen how the child of Jor-El and Lara was placed in the rocket ship, sent on his way to Earth. During the long journey of the rocket ship to the Earth, the child has become a man. The rocket landed in a desert. Superman stepped forth full grown to explore this strange new world in which he found himself. Today, as our story continues, we find him hovering with his curious power above a quiet highway in Indiana. A trolley car is just pulling up the hill, and as Superman wheels and turns in curious flight, unseen below, a man and a boy come out of the shed that served as waiting room. Morning, Professor. Good morning. Going into town? Yes, that's right, John. Taking Jimmy to the fair. It is a great show, all right. Well, I reckon you're my only passengers. Make yourselves at home. I'm going to get me a drink of wine. All right.
So they mentioned the Superman. He's fully grown, right?
Yeah. Oh, Damien, I think you're muted.
sorry, you're right. I was muted. He's full grown. He speaks English. He's an adult, and yet he just grew up in that rocket ship.
Yeah. So the totally different from comic strips,
Right.
and
I think they were just in a rush to get to the rest of the story.
I mean,
don't know.
I think we have a technology where we could fly from one in the. I mean, how long it took Voyager to make it to into our solar system? 40 years.
Yeah, but we have newer probes that have gone out there much faster.
Much further. Yeah, much faster. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, imagine if they're 10 million, I mean, a million years ahead of us, they would
Yeah.
have a faster spaceship at least.
Right. Yeah, because I think now we can get something from Earth to Jupiter like in 3 or 4 years.
But if they're from other solar system, how did the boy, how did they catch him?
The
as a baby?
relativity, the time on the spaceship was very short
I see.
if you're traveling close to the speed of light,
So that's a
or suspended animation.
or suspended animation.
Yeah, it could be suspended. Yeah.
Or he went through a wormhole. Or he went through a wormhole.
Well, but
I
think Jor-El said it goes wherever you point it.
Yes.
Remember how he said that?
That was very
was like-
scientific.
I was like, I don't think it works
It's
that
tricky
way.
to
Jor-El,
point it if
but
the
anyway,
sun is between us and Krypton.
you know.
I think more thought was put into the comic strip than to the
Yeah.
radio show.
Oh, he went through one more. Went through where I came from.
Yeah. He went right through Nauman's basement
Yes.
to Earth. Just showed up right in there.
Comic book wormhole.
Imagination. Anyway, these programs are available all over the YouTube, so you can find these. And I think next clip, I'm not going to play it, but next clip I think explains how Clark Kent got his identity. He got it from basically this stranger. He saves them, and
they just make up the name for him, I think.
Yeah, they just make up the name, and that hey, how can I learn about this planet? He didn't say that, but what can I do? He did reveal himself to them, didn't he? Yeah, he saves a father and son in this radio program from tragic death. He saves them, then he say, hey, I'm from another planet and I'm trying to figure out how to, fit in. And they say, you should go to, if you want to, and he say, hey, I want to help people out and go to the newspaper and work for them. And you'll be able
to find out what's going on.
Yeah, you'll be able to find out what's going on and, try to fit in that way.
Help people out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they even gave him a name, Clark Kent.
Right.
So,
yeah. I always thought Clark was like some kind of play on Kal-El spelled backwards,
Hey, that's a good point. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I never seen anywhere where that was stated. So
right.
I could be wrong. Could be just a coincidence.
Well, I was watching The Adventures of Superman this afternoon, and in this, instead of Martha and Jonathan Kent, it's Eben and Sarah Kent who adopt him. But I haven't watched it. I didn't get to see it as a kid. This very first episode of the George Reeves Superman is quite good. It's kind of an amalgam of the radio show and the comic strip, I would say, but adds in more about the Kents. And they have the father Kent, Eben Kent, have a heart attack, and just as Clark becomes a man, and that sort of motivates him to go off and do good. Cool. But it has the whole Krypton sequence and stuff. Anyway, I thought it was surprisingly good because I know they had a limited budget on this show.
Yeah, the Krypton part especially was pretty impressive considering.
Yeah, considering the time.
Considering the time, yeah. I've seen it several times myself, just as a happenstance, and I was pretty impressed for that, even when as a kid. So.
And in this version, I think maybe in the radio they said in this version, Krypton is falling into their sun. That's what's destroying it. And I think that's an interesting. It's not very realistic, I don't think, but it's an interesting way to destroy a planet.
Yep. Well, they did.
Was Superman on I Love Lucy? I guess he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was actually. Yeah, yeah. I think he did say
Council on
gravitational
Krypton.
pull or something. So if you come closer, the gravitational pull is greater too.
You
so-
could, yeah, if something knocked us out of our orbit, I suppose we could spiral into the sun.
Yeah.
Because it's momentum that keeps us from falling into the
Correct.
sun.
Right.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and the what is it? The gravitational pull is actually repelled to a certain point, and that's why we're sort of like skidding around it like marbles, and without
Right.
friction, right?
Yeah.
I think one of these origin stories teaches how to. It teaches how the Martha Kent and what's his name? Father's name?
Jonathan?
Yeah, Jonathan Kent. They teach him how to disguise himself. For instance, crouch instead of Superman's always big.
Right.
Clark Kent always goes around crouching himself to seem smaller.
Yeah.
And so it's not just the glasses.
His posture, I believe his voice, his mannerisms are all different when he's Clark Kent, supposedly.
Right.
Yeah, because glasses aren't going to do it. But if you're not expecting that, they didn't.
Yeah.
There was a time where they didn't even know if Superman had an alter ego. They
Exactly. Yeah.
could have been Superman and had Fortress of Solitude. He comes out when he needs to do something.
And that posture and everything. If you were able to put on the act the whole time, that's more important than the glasses, I think.
Right.
Anyway, I really enjoyed doing this. Thank you guys. I asked Alex. By the way, Alex, thank you for the shirt.
Ooh,
yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Alex, our
so Alex does a travel channel. Is that what she does?
She does More Life and Travel.
They do a lot of collectibles. Disney.
They do a lot of Disney collectibles.
Oh, okay.
Funko Pops and actual Disney collectible from old time. Hey, there's comic
mystery.
Bueller, how are you, sir?
Hey, Travis, how you doing, buddy?
Old people, gross.
Gross.
Old people.
Hey, the alternative is worse, Travis.
Well, yeah, their people are even grosser, okay? I know. Anyway, it was really fun doing this. I didn't know.
When is the next one?
I didn't know what the response was when I asked you guys for the voices. All of you guys just said no problem, and
oh yeah.
So that was awesome, and
we're addicted to this stuff at this point because we did that Last Enemy, like we did that live, I guess. But
yeah,
Joe,
it worked live. We could do it live again.
Live,
This editing was though very, very impressive.
Yeah, that adds a whole nother layer. Yeah, good to see you too, buddy. I'm sure he's back from MegaCon now, but
yeah, he's. I saw him on Tuesday. I saw him yesterday.
Oh, you saw him yesterday? Okay.
We hung out for a while at Mocha Express, and then he's headed down to his father's lake. So I need to visit that someday. Nice. But yeah, it was really good seeing him. It sounded like he had an amazingly good time at MegaCon. Yeah, but I should let him talk about it, not me.
It looks like we have a couple of requests from the audience, and someone mentioned Shadow.
The Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
The Shadow.
So we need to find a Shadow comic book that we're going to act out?
Yeah. Not too long, something that
Right. Well,
but it would be fun to find more old time comics to act out. That would be cool.
Yeah, they do some kind of radio program,
I don't know if the Shadow Golden Agers from Street and Smith are public domain, but if they are, there were various stories in those. We could do one of those shorter ones.
Are those? Do they have shorter ones? I didn't know if they were all novellas or something.
Yeah, some are shorter. They weren't all the whole comic. They had usually 3 or 4 stories in there. Usually one was shorter than 2. There was one longer and one kind of in between.
This is just a Dragon Story Hour.
Story Hour. I don't know what you're talking about, Morris, but anyway. Yeah, I guess we can talk about that at some point, but yeah, that would be cool. I love those pulp heroes. So Spider and Doc Savage, all those guys.
Didn't Shadow fight Genghis Khan one time? Didn't he fight Genghis Khan?
In the movie he did.
In the movie, okay, yeah.
Damien as the Shadow, Roger as the man in the street, and Hammond as the bad guy.
And Alex is, what's the name of the Shadow's female friend?
Oh,
it's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, she's always there.
Okay, well that sounds good. Anyway, do you got any last thought, guys, on what we did? Roger?
No, just that I love doing it, and it's funny how it's just amazing because Superman's been around so long, how much there is to dig into. There's always new aspects to it that I didn't know about.
Joe's old man. He could join us anytime.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Meet the age limit.
Yeah, you're in the same crowd here.
And he has many voices.
Oh yeah. I'm with Damien. If you dig really deep, because there's so many different channels. You can look at the serial, like Damien's. You can look at the radio show. You can look at the strips. You can look at the comics. There was even some paperbacks that
right.
Siegel and Schuster did. So, and some of those are variations. I don't think they're exact reprints. So, it just depends how deep you want to dig into it. And I wanted to mention one thing is that the fact that, or the notion that Superman is an evolved, or the same as a human, but much to a pinnacle, right? That's what they said in the radio show.
Yeah.
John Byrne picked up on that in 1986, and he brought that back because his Superman was, all his powers were derivative of human type of actions. In other words, he went into space. He needed oxygen. And then he could hold his breath for long periods of time. Right.
Right.
His speed is just an enhanced speed. His vision is actually X-ray vision is actually, how you can focus through something if you focus on something closer than further away. That's just an enhanced, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The only thing I think he had to throw in there, because DC insisted, was the heat vision. Which has
and could
no
he fly
analogy.
rather than jump? I'm trying to remember.
The flying was actually he could repel the gravitons or something. It wasn't.
Oh, okay.
He didn't have like some kind of jets or anything. He manipulated the gravity, like supposedly like people are going to levitate, things like that. But anyway.
Right.
But
So
in radio,
he
he did fly. In radio, he fly. This is 1940, you say? This was 1940 program?
The radio program was 1940, yeah.
Yeah.
And by 1941, there was a movie. So it all happened really quickly.
I mean,
a
this
movie serial,
must just hit Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it was
at
all mediums. It was on radio, TV, in print, everywhere.
Anyway, anything going on your future channels? Anything going on your channels, Roger?
Not much. I got an A-OK from a community member. I'm going to do a video this weekend about that. And I think that's about the only thing I have right now.
I just did a video on a art book about Hieronymus Bosch, favorite medieval painter of mine, and I'll probably be doing a vlog soon about what I've been up to lately in terms of reading comics and with a haul and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
But and I've been buying more t-shirts.
Yeah,
I need to get me that t-shirt. I'm gonna do more deep dive on these Superman books. On origin stories. Just some comic books, not these radio show and stuff, because I want to keep track of when he changed his power and stuff, and how they changed the origin stories. So I'm gonna do that. I will be preparing these our little radio show into a little shorts, and I will distribute that to Roger, Slippy, and Alex, and you guys can do whatever you want with it if you want.
Oh,
I'll definitely post it on my channel. I think it should get as wide a viewing as possible.
Yeah. I'll do it the way it originally came out. I'll do like a daily short.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll probably post it all as one. Then.
Whatever you want to
Have
do.
no
I mean, you can
patience.
even edit your own stuff.
Well,
in
you
there
can
if you want.
people can choose which way they want to watch
Yeah.
it
True.
on,
Well,
on
actually,
your
that's-
channel or
that's-
mine.
You're right. That way they'll have variety. Oh, and by the way, in a couple of weeks, I'll be over visiting visiting Nauman over at DC.
In
You're
Washington
gonna come
D.C.
to my wormhole.
I'm
He's
going to come to the
my
wormhole. So we'll probably shoot a
Well,
little video
and
over there.
when Naman returns to Seattle, I hope we can get together.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry I couldn't get together this time around, but we will.
Because I had a fantastic time visiting with Borum and Agu. That was really great. I'd like to do it
Yeah,
again.
I was really jealous when you guys did that.
that
Those
was a
are
bummer
both
you
cool
couldn't make
guys.
that one, but, yeah. And I'll make it down there to that coast too. Sometime. My wife travels all around the country, so whenever she goes down there, I'll just go with her.
All right, guys.
Well, you guys should have a fantastic time in DC. That's very cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, chat. Appreciate you guys showing up on our channels and watching through with us. Looks like a lot of you went from beginning to end.
People
so
jumped
appreciate you guys.
around from channel to channel, it looked like.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So
cool.
thanks, guys.
Kind of like a comic crawl, but
Yeah.
virtual. Yeah.
And I'd like to do this again next month sometime. So we'd like to do this again next month sometime. Maybe we'll do Shadow or maybe something you guys can come up with, whichever. But
I had an idea of showing our favorite Superman covers. I mean, it's pretty basic, but
okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because I just love looking at what covers people like, and like we're saying, Superman's had gone through so many phases.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Can we include like Superboy in there too? I mean, like
anything from the Superman family. Let's
okay,
say.
Okay, because I have a few, Legion ones that I'd like to put in there.
Yeah, Legion, anything related, Superman related.
Right.
Lois Lane, Jimmy.
Sounds good.
Jackson, you're lost because you're everywhere. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to end the stream so the rewind may be a little easier to consume. Later, guys.
All right. Bye, guys.